Hello everybody, welcome back to another EDH set review of sets gone by. Today we're going to look at Alliances. Alliances was the first time Wizards ever did an expansion to an expansion. We had no idea Alliances were coming when Ice Age came out, so it was meant to go along with Ice Age and complement the themes and introduce some new stuff. So let's get into it. First card, of course, these are alphabetical order, Arcane Denial. Now, this is one of the premier counter spells, simply because it is a hard counter. It will counter any spell, but it only requires one specific blue mana. And that is the beautiful part, that you can hold up X and a blue and have that ability. And it gives you a card. Yes, that spell's caster gets 2 cards, but that's not so much that big of a thing when you are countering the game-ending spell, or your game-ending spell, or the spell that's going to end your, you know what I mean. But it's a great card. Burnout. Speaking of counter spells, another blue counter spell another spell that counters a blue spell. Red didn't get a lot of these, and when they do, it's always directed at blue. So, but this one, unlike the others, gets you a card. Then we have Elvish Spirit Guide. Now, Elvish Spirit Guide is the, I almost said spiritual predecessor of the Simian Spirit Guide, because the Simian Spirit Guide was a color-shifted version of this. And this was the first time we'd ever seen anything like this. And it was, we've only ever had 2 cards that do it. I know as broken as it may be, I would like for them to finish the cycle. We got 2, why not the other 3? So, now I think it may be a little too powerful for them to print nowadays, but it is, I love it. It enables some turn 1 shenanigans. It really, really does. A lot less in our format than the others, but it's still great nonetheless. We have Energy Arc. Now, this is a fog variant that is very interesting and very different. You get to untap any number of target creatures. Those creatures neither deal nor receive combat or damage in combat this turn. So they'll still take, bolt damage or whatever. But it is just an amazing card to tinker in somebody else's combat phase. If you've got player B attacking player C, it's a huge, huge deal to be able to affect that combat and make it a one-sided blowout. We have Exile. Now, Exile is the first card. This is where they got the Exile Zone from. If you will notice, all of the older cards say remove from game. And that is not entirely accurate. As time went on, the remove from game wasn't really removed from the game. It was still a zone in the game, and they were going to tinker and do things with it more, so they had to rename it as to reflect that it was still in the game, but it was, unattainable. So they went back to this card. That's why I put it in here, is because it just Exile. Force of Will. This was the set that originally gave us Force of Will, and this card was trash. Well, in my opinion, when I opened it up, why would anybody want a 5-mana counterspell? And then I read it, and I was like, when you pay 1 life and remove a blue card, why? So I'm going to pay a life and use 2 cards to counter a spell. I'll just use Counterspell or Arcane Denial. I actually liked Arcane Denial more than I did Force of Will. As I said, back then, we were all kind of new and fresh, and we didn't have the same perspectives that we have now, 24 years later or 23 years later. It's a great card. It's only going to get more expensive, people. Gorilla Shaman, the Mox Monkey. That's exactly what we used this for back then. This was the equalizer. If somebody sat down and just dumped out money on the board, But I have also seen this used in our formats to great effect because we do have the ability to generate more mana than most other formats. And heck, I've even seen people destroy their own, get down so low on life they destroy their own mana crypt, so they won't have to lose to their own bad coin flips. Mox Monkey's a great card. Helm of Obedience. Now, if y'all play competitive 60 card, you probably know of this. There are several. I don't really keep up with those decks, but this has gotten ridiculously expensive. It just kind of felt like I had to have it in here. It is on the list. It's never been reprinted. Of course, it never will be, but felt I should include it. There's some insane combos with this card. The Dude Wrench, Kildoran Outpost. Now, there was a cycle of these. I believe white got the best one. Just the ability to crank out a 1/1 blocker or attacker every turn. It was an all-star at the time. I believe the world champion actually used this in a blue-white, and he didn't have any creatures, as I remember. No, he did. Never mind. But I used it to just pump out blockers, or if they didn't die, to pump out my force. Then we have Lake of the Dead. Now, this was the black one, and I'm telling you what, this is outstanding. The Dark Ritual Land. I think I've only got one or two. Of course, they are spoken for in decks. But, man. And I want to take a minute just to appreciate the purple border. I love those. I love that border. Limdul's Vault. For when you gotta have that card right now. You can go looking for it. It's going to take you some life, especially when we're playing with a 99 card format. But it's really good. Fettelgriff. Now, Fettelgriff is an anagram of Garfield PhD, because in the early days they wanted to reinforce that everybody knew that Richard Garfield was a PhD. And the running joke was that eventually they're going to run out of creature types, the early designers. And so eventually, someday in the future, they were going to, Magic was going to have flying purple hippos. So they just went ahead and, as a joke, made a purple flying hippo. Now, we know it as this is just a huge group hug deck. A lot of people choose this as their group hug commander. Shield Sphere is, it looks innocuous, but you know what? Now, especially since we have the new Elder Dragon that helps out walls, but it's always been a combo piece for me. I use it in, Enduring Renewal, Goblin Bombardment things, Who doesn't like pinball, right? But it's really good. Soul to be Digger. Now, I don't have many of this one, but I have used this since the day it came out. I mean, I have abused it to just rebuy cards. Over and over and over. Spiny Starfish, here again, the same Toughness Matters deck. This one, I don't understand why it just blew up and got expensive because of that commander. Don't understand it at all. I don't have it in mind. Okay, I guess. Storm Cauldron. Now, this was reprinted, I believe, in 6th edition. Also kind of a combo piece and kind of a control piece because we love to play our big, expensive, flashy spells. And if every time a land is tapped, it goes back to your hand, man, that sets a game back. Now, I'm a firm believer that it's okay to reset the game or set everybody back as long as you have a way to win. But, that's just me. Some people do it just to be doing it. Thawing Glaciers. Love some Thawing Glaciers. Yes, it's slow, but it does get you. it gets you a land into play every other turn. It does take up your land drop on those other turns, but you are ramping your deck. And if you've got like the Amulet of Vigor, stuff gets nuts. Thought Lash. Now, this is a card I expected to get ridiculously popular when they first printed Laboratory Maniac, because, you know, I'm just not going to pay the upkeep, exile my library, good game. But maybe I'm just, I don't know, maybe it's not quick enough because you've got to wait till your upkeep. I don't know. I haven't actually tested it with the Lab Man, because I try not to use the Lab Man any more than possible, because, you know, it just seems like a win crutch. And, you know, I want to believe I'm a little more inventive than that. Although sometimes, you know. Varchild's War Riders. Y'all know this got big from last year because of we finally got Varchild. And the downside from this card was actually taken away by Varchild. So it's ridiculously amazing. And that is what I've got for Alliances. As I said, it was a very small set, but I had a lot of fond memories with it. I know I may have missed some other cards, but that's what I've got for Alliances. I do appreciate y'all watching. Hey, y'all let me know what you think. And if you liked what you see, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate y'all watching till the end. It really, truly does matter. And if you don't want to miss any, go up there and, what do they say? Ring the bell, push the bell, and you'll get the updates as they come out. So I appreciate y'all watching, but I believe that's all we've got for today. So we will see y'all tomorrow.